All right, we're live from the barn. Let's see if we can get some people on here tonight. So, this week, what we did mostly was finished up the chicken coop that we talked about. We were building for the customer. Um, Finished milling up the wood for the second section of the mezzanine, which I'm sitting underneath now, and got that all framed up. Got half the subflooring done on that. I'll show you that here. So I'm sitting underneath this now. The other half of it, the subflooring has to get put in. So there's a bit of a gap there. So we did some odds and ends around here, cooked up some food and froze some stuff, and just kind of did some prepping work, freezing and cooking food, cleaning up the property, doing some maintenance stuff and doing stuff for customers. I sharpened probably 50 or 60 blades this week. Hey, Junkyard, how's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Sharpened a bunch of blades for customers this week, probably 50, 60 blades. Went over, today we went over, oh, Junkyard says, that looks pretty good. Oh, appreciate that. Good evening. Yeah, so the mezzanine is now 12 by 24. So that's the second floor of our barn. We got 14-foot walls. There's the first section. We have all the storage up above that. And then the second section probably be done by Monday, Tuesday. This weekend we got a little shift our focus a little bit towards the mobile home move. Today we went over to where the mobile home is located, and I got some video footage of that. I had to cut a stump down to ground level, which was really a pain in the butt because it was about 24 foot or 24 inch maple stump. Wahawk says, oh my god, Mike got a new shirt. No, I didn't actually. No, this one's still pretty stained. I'm not trying to like flash you and show my boobs or anything, but although if you guys are willing to pay me for it, I'll do it. But but yeah, no, not a new shirt. It says Bradford on it. That's Bradford, New Hampshire. That's a race I ran in 2015. A little while ago. Hey, how's it going from Ontario? Let me go back here. So today we went over to the mobile home. Wahawk says it's all rain today in Iowa. We haven't had actually rain in a while. We haven't had rain here, and I mean, we had a little bit of a rain, I don't know, about 4 or 5 days ago. It rained for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours. And it was just barely enough to get the ground wet enough to create mud. Junkyard says lines are down. Lines are down. So where are you at? Where the lines are down? Do you have a big storm out there? We got a lot of wind out here right now, but it's not affecting us at this point. It's funny living out here in the middle of nowhere, and our telephone poles, our utility poles, being, you know, over 1,000 feet from the road. We haven't lost power here yet, which is kind of surprising. Mike's starting an OnlyFans. Junkyard says power down. Power lines are down east of me. I haven't seen any power lines down or anything like that here since we've been here, but we haven't even been here a year yet. So I'm sure we'll see it. We're gonna build a solar power system for the house once it gets here, which I talked to the mobile home moving company today, and they said that they're planning on moving it next week. Junkyard said we had 3 tornadoes. Wow. Where is that? I'm sure it must be west of here. 2 west of me, 1 east. Wow. Are you out in like southeast Oklahoma? Oh, okay. I was just gonna say Oklahoma, Missouri, or not Missouri, Mississippi, or. But yeah, we haven't seen any. Luckily, haven't seen any tornadoes here yet. I'm sure we will at some point. But this building, this metal building, is supposed to be able to handle pretty high winds. But the way we've built the interior of it, I'm sure it's going to handle even more. Because these 6x6 posts, there's one down, I can't point, over there behind that stack of lumber, and of course one right here, another one there, and we're gonna have probably another 8 or 10 of those that are anchored to the concrete here, and everything. The framing of this mezzanine is all tied to the steel framing of this building, so if this building tried to lift off and take away, it's got a lot more weight to take off than just the metal building alone. So the metal building itself is now being reinforced by what we're building inside of it, which is really nice. We're building everything here with 2x8 poplar hardwood, so it's going to be a lot more solid than just pine framing, and it's not your standard Lowe's or Home Depot wood where you're going to get 3.5 by 1.5. It's actually 2x8, so it's really solid. We have a lot of stuff stored, a lot of weight stored up on the first section, 12 by 12 section that we built up there, and then the section that I'm building above where I'm sitting now is another 12 by 12 section, and we're going to anchor that to the wall of the building, to 3 of the steel studs here at least, and they're anchored to the concrete as well as the walls, so it's pretty solid. And we're going to continue that on for another 16 feet to the back of the building. We've done 2 12-foot sections. After that, we're going to do 2 8-foot sections. We could do a 12-foot section and a 4-foot section, but I figured might as well split the last 2 sections up. It'll be the same amount of wood, but it'll be quite a bit more sturdy. We were out at the mobile home site where the mobile home is located now, and went out there, like I said, today. So the mobile home movers said that they needed us to remove the utility pole, which is sitting inches from the side of the mobile home. The last mobile home company that we hired to do the move, who never showed up, Junkyard said, "Did you saw the planks for the floor?" We did. Everything that we're doing in here, aside from these posts we bought at the local Lowe's, the 6x6 pressure treated. Everything else above that is all wood that we milled ourselves. It's all been milled on our Woodland Mills 130 Max. Wahawk says, "You mean the sections Ryan's building?" Yeah, he really is. He is. We've been working together doing it. The parts he's needed help with is these beams here that we've been building. We got one here and one on the other side. And then the floor frame, we work together to get that done. And the flooring, but pretty much once the main frame is done and the beams are there, all I got to do at that point is pretty much mill and cut the wood to length and bring it to him, and he puts it all in place. He knows what needs to be done. I taught him measuring all the 16 on center and everything else. So he's been screwing everything together, and it's coming out really, really good. I'm really proud of him for that. He's been really an amazing help. So yeah, at the mobile home today, hey Kim, how's it going? Hey, good to see you. How you been? How's the weather out there? So at the mobile home site, we took down the utility pole. I cut that stump down. We had to cut some tree branches down that were kind of potentially could touch the mobile home if they were pulling it out. I cut some small trees down to the ground, like just flush with the ground so they could drive over it. Cleaned up a bunch of brush and stuff, and oh, my mom just tried to call. I'll have to call her back. We cut a bunch of stuff down, flush to the ground so they could pull the mobile home out. Where they're going to pull the mobile home out, I think is going to be kind of tricky. It's going to be interesting to see that happen. So I'm definitely going to record that because I have a feeling that's going to be interesting to see. Because I couldn't even pull a trailer out of there where they're pulling this out of. If I was going to go up and out of the driveway, wouldn't be so big a deal, but they told me they're going to go straight from where the mobile home is right to the road, which is a really steep incline and then like a sharp to the road. So they said they have the equipment to do it. I've seen this same company do it on another YouTube channel. If you guys don't follow them, it's Green Acre Homestead. They're right here in Tennessee. They're in the same county we are in. His name's Sam and his wife Angela. They have a really awesome YouTube channel, Green Acre Homestead. That's kind of where we got the referral for these guys to move our home. They did an amazing job with theirs. And our home, theirs was a 72 foot, I believe. Ours is a 50. So I figured they're probably gonna, and they had to move theirs from North Carolina to here, which is like 300 miles. Ours only has to get moved 18 miles. So I figured it's going to be a bit easier job for them, but it'll be interesting to see. I saw the video where they pulled their mobile home out of where it was in North Carolina, which was a pretty tricky move. You should definitely check their video out on their channel. It's quite an interesting move, but I'm gonna hopefully try to get my drone out there too, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough time to pull that out because I gotta find that somewhere here in the storage and get some really cool footage of them pulling that out of there. But at the very least, I'll take my phone camera out there and record that and show you what that looks like. But I did do a video on prepping the mobile home to move. The last couple trips I took out there, I didn't record. There really wasn't anything too really interesting to record. The trip that I made today, Ryan recorded some video because he's starting his own YouTube channel. I'll try to remember to put a link in the description of this video, but if I don't, if you just look it up on YouTube, he's probably got no subscribers, but his YouTube channel is called Young Blood. Young Blood is the YouTube channel name for his. He's going to be putting up videos on how he's been building the mezzanine here and how he's building outdoor furniture and how he's been helping me and doing the things he's doing, which I think is going to be really interesting because coming from an 18-year-old's perspective, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Because he asked me if I thought it would be interesting if he did videos on what he was doing every day, and I told him of course, because at 18 years old I wasn't doing this stuff. So I imagine anyone would be interested in seeing that. So see, Stoic 13 CA says my better half is in Tennessee right now, something to do with horses, so now I'm babysitting the ones we have. Your background is where I just came from. Shop Splash Garage. Yes. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting here now. eventually this whole thing, like this should all be emptied out eventually. All this crap that you see behind me, it should be a pretty well open area, because what we have over here, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a 10 by 10 garage door, roll up door. So I should be able to pull equipment in here and work on stuff and build things in here. And of course I can't do that now because of all this stuff here. So once we get the mobile home here, get the mezzanine built, we should have a lot more storage. Oh, you know what I need? I need another way to read the chat here. There we go. Who are you and what do you do? Who are you and what do you do? Who am I? I am just some random old guy. And what do I do? This is what I do, I guess. I'm not really sure how to answer that. So, yeah, my past history is I was in IT. I was a technology engineer for almost 20 years. I worked remotely for a good portion of that, the last probably 5 years of that. He says, LOL, ditto. Yeah, so who I am, I worked in IT for a while, and before I did all this. And then I just really got sick of sitting at a computer every day. I worked from home, and it was just, it was one of those situations where, a lot of people say, oh, I wish I could just work from home and make good money and just work from a computer. And it sounds great until you do it. I thought it would be great too until I did it. And then I did that for a few years, and it just didn't feel like a life anymore. It just felt like Groundhog Day. It was like one day to the next and the next and the next, and it was just, there wasn't much going on. It was like, the same thing over and over. Of course, they paid me really good money. I got great benefits. I never had to leave my house, which sounds good, but if you're looking for something that's rewarding and it's not, sitting at a computer every day and staring at a screen every day isn't your thing, it's not going to be, it definitely won't be rewarding. Then I got into like building things and making stuff and doing things with my hands, and I really liked that as a hobby. And then so I just got to the point where all I could think about was doing that and didn't want to do the computer thing anymore, and I quit doing that. So I have a pretty long background in technology, voice over IP, data centers, networks, technology and IP communication, remote access, security firewalls, and that's kind of where my background is. I'm not so sure I could remember half of it at this point, and I don't really care. And that's fine with me, but it's what I did, and it's how I got where I am now, which I can't say was a bad thing. So by doing that and saving money and living the simple life I lived at that point, it allowed me to make a different decision. So cool, good for you. Yeah, I mean, the big thing that happened to me was in 2017. If you look back in my videos over the past 4 or 5 years, 2017 September, late September, early October, my father passed away, and he was only 62, and he had just retired like 9 months before, and it really made me start thinking a lot differently about life. And within the next couple of years, I quit my job. I just started thinking, like, if I'm going to retire and then die, that's not really what I'm looking for. So, I'd rather enjoy doing what I'm doing now And I don't really think of retiring. Like to me, there's no retiring. Like I'm doing what I'm doing every day. I enjoy what I do. I go out and do a bunch of side work, a bunch of side jobs. I run my tractor and I do my work. Um, like I said, I built the chicken coop. Ran my tractor. I do a bunch of brush hogging, road clearing, grading and excavation and that sort of thing, and just do stuff on the side to help pay the bills. And like for me, that's the dream right there. Like I'm just having a blast because I'm living by my own schedule, and like I don't think there's anything better than that, at least in my shoes. Like a lot of people need structure, they need a schedule, they need to be told what to do. I've never been good at being told what to do. I mean, from being from a kid to now, I've never been good at being told what to do. So, I guess that should have been a sign that I should have always been doing my own thing. But I don't know how you guys feel. Like, you guys all prefer working for somebody, being told do this, do that, do this, punch in, punch out, or would you rather kind of control your own destiny? And it's not for everyone either, because you have to be disciplined. You have to, when you're given that freedom, or when you take that freedom on your own. I learned this a little bit. When you do that, you can become lazy because you feel like you don't have to do things. But when you go to pay bills and realize like, oh, things aren't working out, I need some money, I need to go work. It takes a little bit of getting used to and figuring it out, but once you figure it out, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. And like Wahawk says, Mike's a lumberjack and I'm okay. So I am okay. And I'm somewhat of a lumberjack. And I have a beard to prove it, so. So, what are you guys all doing tonight? Do you have any questions about the stuff we're doing here? Um, hopefully, uh, hopefully sometime between now and next Friday, we're gonna have a mobile home being moved here. I'll record that and I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys how that works. I don't even know how that's gonna work, but um, this weekend I have an excavator I'm going to pick up because mine's still broken because I tipped the damn thing over. And it's still being worked on and repaired, and I can't wait for that. So I rented a machine, and it's coming this weekend, or I'm going to pick it up tomorrow morning. We're going to backfill the septic line and bring it up to the ground level, stub it off about 4, 5, 6 inches to the ground. Same thing with the water line. Backfill that, stub it off. Junkyard says I'd better get off here. I'm down to 20% of my computer and running off hotspot. All right, Junkyard, good night. I hope you guys get the electric back soon. Sorry, it sucks that you guys are going through that, but we always enjoy being without electricity anyway. But hope you're doing all right with that and that you're getting through it. Sounds like you are. So have a good night. So this weekend we get the excavator that I'm going to bring back here. We're going to backfill the septic line, the water line. I'm going to stub those off on the ground. The septic line easily enough, just bring it up, put a cap on it. Water line, I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to put a shut off on it, and I'll turn the water line back on. That's pretty much it. I mean, move a couple things out of the way for them. Down by the road at the end of the driveway, they have a couple trees that they want me to cut back. They didn't mention it, but the roadside drainage, there's a bit of a swale, like a bit of a dip there for the roadside drainage, which I think is kind of overkill. So I'm probably going to backfill that with some stone. And if I have to dig it out later, I will. But I'm going to do that just to make it easy so they can pull it in and over that without worrying about dropping down into that hole. Move a few pieces of machinery and stuff out of the way. And then make sure they have a nice, good, clear shot from the road down to where the mobile home is going, which is about 1,200 feet from the road. So I have a quarter-mile stretch that I'm just going to drive down and make sure there's a good wide area for them to bring that thing down. I don't want any problems when they get here. I want to make it nice and easy. I just want them to come in, get it set up, done, easy going, and done. That's it. That's just the way I don't want to deal with problems. I always account that there's going to be problems, and I always accept there's going to be some issues, and they're going to need one thing or another. But I'll do everything I can to try to avoid as many of those problems as possible. Then the excavator, the hood for that is being repaired. Hopefully that by Sunday will be fixed, and then Sunday, Monday we'll have all the mechanical things taken care of, and the excavator hopefully will be back up and running at some point Monday, my excavator, because I have somebody who's interested in doing a trade and bringing their excavator, smaller excavator in, and giving us some cash on top of that for in trade to make a trade on that. So hopefully that works out. If not, I'm just going to sell it, because we pretty much got most of the stuff we need to get done. And going forward, if I rent an excavator like one weekend a month, I can get pretty much everything I need done here between that and the tractor. So that pretty much covers everything that's going on. We've been stockpiling and freezing food, plumbing, heating. We've been heating with propane in our campers, which really sucks. We've been cutting and splitting a ton of firewood, and don't have one working wood stove here, which is nuts to me. I just can't. I'm not okay with that. So once we get this mezzanine done, I think I'm going to get the wood stove that's over here hooked up and installed. I have all the hardware for that, so I'll probably do a video on that. Another thing I've done is I've installed a lot of solar-powered wireless surveillance cameras around the barn and our property, or where the campers are. And it's a pretty cool product. I've been testing it out. The system works, and show you how that works. I also have been testing and using another system for smart plugs, which also monitors energy usage, which is going to be handy when it comes to building out a solar power system. I have them plugged into the refrigerator and freezer here in the barn, so I can kind of monitor the power usage of those appliances. So when we go to build out a solar power system, I'll have an idea of like how much we have to build that up, if that makes sense. Wahawk says, you know that song about signs, you're quoting half the lyrics. I may have been. Oh, dang it. There we go. Wahawk says, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's true. That's 100%. So definitely prepare for the worst. I mean, the way the economy and the government and the freaking world is going, I mean, you don't know. They're talking about diesel prices. Diesel prices are freaking ridiculous. Over $5 a gallon, while unleaded fuel is like $3 a gallon. So it's like a $2 difference right now, which is stupid. So there's clearly a problem. So we have to work around that. We have to figure that out. So tomorrow, when I go to pick up the excavator, I'm going to use my Dodge instead of the Chevy. The Chevy's diesel, the Dodge is gas. So I'm going to use that to pick the machine up. The machine, of course, runs diesel, but the machines are usually pretty efficient. But whenever we go out for the day, we try to plan one trip and do everything in one trip. So we try to cut back on using as much fuel as we can. Food is so stupid expensive, but we've been going out and buying bulk and preparing it and freezing it ahead of time, and buying like large quantities of stuff, which saves you a lot per pound when it comes to vegetables and meat and stuff like that. And then of course, spring comes, we're going to have our own crops here. We're going to grow stuff. And of course we have the pigs for meat, the chickens for eggs, which hopefully will be laying in the next couple, 2-3 months. We buy our eggs right now locally for $2.50 a dozen, and then we actually luckily we're friends with them, and I've been doing a lot of work for them and helping them out a lot. So a lot of times they just give us the eggs. So it's kind of almost kind of like a bartering system. This is not a bad time to kind of prep and prepare and, you know, get to know some people in your area. I know this particular family is a bit vulnerable. She lost her husband not long ago, and it's just her and her daughter living together. So if they ever need help or need anything, we'll always be there to help them out. And then of course she's got a couple dozen chickens and eggs, so if we need that, she'll return the favor. So, you know, just be ready. It's, you know, it seems like there's a recession here, obviously, right now. I mean, like, you can't deny it. You know, inflation's stupid. Stoic says, woodworking? If so, dang, why is that happening? If so, what projects or home improvement projects? My list is endless, and that's from my better half. So, yeah. So, home improvement projects are going to be like completely endless. Once we get the mobile home here, of course, we're going to be tearing out the walls, the subflooring. We're going to be doing all new flooring, all new walls, all new lighting, solar energy. I'm going to be building a front porch, a back porch. We're going to be doing a bunch of plumbing, electrical. So there's going to be quite a bit of projects coming up. And if you guys are interested, I'll record a lot of that and show you what I'm doing. But we're going to be quite busy. So my thought is, because the tough thing with recording and doing those things at the same time is, of course, recording and editing slows you down quite a bit. But we're not going to be in like a huge rush. Because we have a lot of space now with the mezzanine here and the campers and the mobile home coming in. So we could take our time and go through it and do some videos on just kind of showing you how I'm doing it. Like I installed the plumbing here in the barn. We have a toilet here. I'm going to be installing a sink and a shower. Stoic says, awesome, good stuff. Yeah, so in the barn here, I'm going to install a sink and a shower and plumbing and a lot more electrical here with more lighting. So there's going to be quite a bit of DIY stuff. And if you guys ever have any questions on anything specifically, definitely let me know. I'm not an expert on any of it, but I will research the crap out of it and I will come up with a solution, because odds are if there's something that you're looking for a solution on, it's probably something I'm working on, because we have so much going on here. I'm gonna put a bunch of new windows in on the second floor here. It's not gonna be these metal building windows. It's gonna be more insulated windows. I'm gonna be doing insulation, heat, wood stove installation. I mean, if you can think of it, I'm probably gonna be doing it. So. Sounds like there's an animal right out here out this door. I'm gonna go check it out. Alright, hang on guys. Hang on a minute. I want to see what's going on out there. That's crazy. Do you guys hear that at all? There's like coyotes out there like fighting something. Yeah, we get them every night. The coyotes around here like crazy. I put some cameras out. Cool, we have them here too. Wahawk says, Bigfoot. Yeah. We have a lot of coyotes out here. Once it gets dark, you hear them out there like hollering in the woods and stuff, but they sounded really close over here. I don't know if you heard that. I don't know if the camera or the microphone picked it up, but they were really close. Which is why I've been wanting to put the cameras out there, so I wanted to catch them. Stoic says, what are you drinking? Enjoying Moosehead Lager here. What am I drinking? I am drinking water. No, I'm not. It's called Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thing IPA. I'm a little bit of an IPA snob. One of the things I do plan on building, by the way, is I want to build a separate shed building, like maybe like a little 12 by 12 building for brewing my own beer. Wahawk says, though, he's been trying to reach you about your extended warranty. Yeah, right. I want to build my own shed and just kind of brew my own beer there. I kind of want to do my own thing out there. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And I think there's a lot of cool resources here on the property for that. I think we could potentially grow our own hops and add some flavors with the blackberries that we have in the area. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So, yeah, I think that would be cool. I always liked doing my own homebrew. I used to do it, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. It's been quite a long time since I've done it. But I'm always a fan of IPA because I love the hoppy taste. But yeah, I just like creating my own stuff anyway. So I think that pretty much covers like kind of everything we're at this point what we're working on. I'm hoping to build a sawmill shed, or shed over my sawmill soon, because I'm kind of getting sick of that thing sitting out there not being covered. I installed an hour meter on it, not the one that it came with, because that thing was terrible. That didn't work properly. It didn't account for the hours correctly. I put another hour meter on it, but apparently it wasn't made for being outside, or it was just defective, because I've used that same one before on a previous sawmill and it worked fine. But the LED screen is full of condensation, so now you can't read it. So I'm probably gonna have to replace that again, which kind of sucks. But I want to do a lot more sawmilling. All my sawmilling lately has just been for the projects that we needed to do around here, like the mezzanine, which has been the biggest thing. But I have a bunch of walnut logs, maple, cedar, stuff that I need to get milled up, hackberry, black locust. I get a bunch of sawmill logs that I have to mill up. But I don't have a use for the wood at this point, so I've been kind of focusing on just getting the poplar milled up. So since we've been building the mezzanine here, I'm not building that out of cedar and walnut and all that. So the poplar seems to be a good fit for building this, and it's working out pretty well. It doesn't split and crack. It's pretty solid, it's stable, and it's very hard. And it's most certainly going to hold up better than pine will. Got a little maintenance to do. I got to get two of my trucks have to get oil changes. The tractor's probably going to be due for an oil change in the next 50 hours. I got to get that greased up in the next few days. Just so much to do. Like there's no end. No end to anything here on the homestead. There's just so much to do all the time. But I can't live any other way. It's funny, I was actually watching a video of somebody sitting in their log cabin out in the woods and just sitting by their wood stove and just chilling out, drinking some tea and watching the wood stove for a few hours. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I mean, that's what I would love, but I would like to sit out and just chill and enjoy my own, creation. But I always need to stay busy, and that's just kind of how I am. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. Like, can you guys I've never been good at just sitting and relaxing. Like, I'm just not good at that. Like, I always have to be doing something. So, but let's see here where we're at. Just getting used to this. This is a new phone, by the way. How is the camera and the audio on this? Because this is actually the first time I've done a live stream from this phone. Does it look any better than the previous ones, or what do you think? Here, I'll show you around here a little bit. I'll unplug the charger because it's probably got plenty of battery. So there's the first section of the mezzanine, 12 by 12. And that dog barking, that's our old boy, Cow. Our old beagle. He'll be 15. He's 15, he'll be 16 in May. And this is our corner of the barn here. And this, of course, will be the bathroom, because that's where the plumbing comes in. And so as you can see, the bathroom's over there. My saw blade sharpener, the two setters there. If I turn you 180 and go in the other direction, over here we have the freezer, the fridge, and then a bunch of freaking crap stored over here. Mostly lumber. It's all like kiln dried lumber that we used to sell in New Hampshire that we brought with us. I'll use for projects probably at some point. Same thing here. There's a ton of it there. Whole bunch of it over there. And there's a whole lot more in the other corner. A bunch of live edge slabs and lumber that we brought down with us. The wood stove that was in our shop in New Hampshire is right here. I love that wood stove. Had to bring it with me because that wood stove is awesome. And then we got a brand new wood stove, which is going to go in the mobile home when it arrives. So, but I think that's pretty much everything I had to share with you guys and tell you about. If you guys have any questions, comments. Stoic says, I've been looking into getting a wood in the mill sawmill. What's your opinion, experience with the mill? So that's actually a big deal. So it's funny. I say that because when I first bought my first sawmill, I did a lot of research before I bought it because it was a big investment. It was something I didn't know a lot about. I wanted to learn about. I talked to some people that I knew that owned sawmills, and best bang for your buck is always what I'm looking for. So I decided my very first sawmill back in 2016, 2017, I bought a Woodland Mills HM 130, the earlier model that they had. I bought it, ordered it, delivered it, built it, and if you look back on my YouTube channel, like some of the earliest videos I have, you'll see Emma was only like probably 3 years old. I built the sawmill, and that thing worked great. Like, it worked really, really well. No problems with it whatsoever. The only reason I upgraded at that point, back in I think it was 2020. It was after about owning it for like 3 years. I upgraded because we were getting a lot more production. We were milling a lot more wood. Bigger logs, heavier logs, and I wanted something that could mill something wider. So I ordered and bought a WoodMizer LT15 Wide. We had that for a year, maybe, and then we upgraded so if anyone knows, Nathan Elliott's YouTube channel, Out of the Woods Forestry, if you follow me for the sawmill, you guys probably know him. I bought his sawmill, and we drove down from New Hampshire to Tennessee, and we picked that up. We bought his LT40 diesel, fully hydraulic. That mill was awesome. That was probably one of the best sawmills I've ever owned. Probably the best sawmill I ever owned. That thing was like fast production. Stoic says, good to know. That's great. Thank you. Yes, Out of the Woods. Wow, cool. Yeah, so I bought Nathan's sawmill. If you look back in June of, was it last year, I think? He's got a video out there where I sold my sawmill. And you'll see there's a video of me pulling out of there with my flatbed F450, pulling his sawmill out of the yard and driving away with it. And that's me in the video driving away with his sawmill. So I bought his sawmill, and that sawmill was awesome. I bought that. I bought an LX250, an LT50, and our business just grew up in New Hampshire. And you'll see at that point I stopped doing videos, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, you must not be that busy." Well, it was the contrary. It was actually, we were so busy I couldn't do videos. We were just so busy. We ended up hiring 5 or 6 employees, and we just were barely keeping up. I was working 7 days a week, and we had 4 WoodMizer sawmills, and eventually downsized, sold everything, and moved here. And when we came here, I knew that most of the sawmilling I was going to be doing was for myself. So I thought, what's the best bang for your buck when you're milling for yourself? And now I have a Woodland Mills again. And that should say something for them, because I've owned some of the best WoodMizer sawmills that they've made. And I'm very happy with the Woodland Mills sawmill. For what I'm doing here, it's the perfect sawmill. There's no need to be over invested into something that you don't need. It's always been my belief. So this sawmill is doing everything we need it to do, and it's been a really good machine. And I would, if you take care of the machine properly and you don't try to do more than it's made to do, then it's going to be a great machine for you. If you're trying to do production sawmilling, WoodMizer is a good way to go, because you can get all the hydraulics, all the machines, all the frames are welded. They're not screwed together or bolted together. So there's a lot to be said for the reliability and the solid structure that they create in their manufacturing. But if you're just looking to do like if you're only going to be looking to run it like 20, 30, 40 hours a month, Woodland Mills is fine. if you don't mind, manhandling some logs and rolling them around yourself, or kind of being a little bit of an engineer and trying to figure out ways to move those things around yourself, that's fine. But if you'd rather just spend the money up front and get everything you need up front, hydraulics, log turning, all that stuff, if you got the money and the funds for it, WoodMizer is the way to go. But if you're like me and you only want to spend as much as you need to for what you need, and you're willing to muscle things around and put a little bit of your own elbow grease into it, Woodland Mills is definitely a good choice. So I hope that helps. But so WoodMizer is awesome if you need that machine to do everything for you. If you don't mind doing a lot on your own, and don't mind being tired at the end of the day, Woodland Mills is a great machine. Just be aware that Woodland Mills, the metal is a little bit thinner. Things are going to flex more. You're going to build a good base for it. So there's a lot to think about. If you ever have any questions or kind of concerns or thoughts about it, always feel free to shoot me a message or a comment on the videos that are on our channel, and I'll happy answer those for you. Stoic says, awesome, thank you. Yeah, so of course, I know that was like a long babbling, tangent to go on, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot more to it than I thought there was, even when I bought my first sawmill. There's a lot to think about, and it's funny because after owning, I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 different sawmills over the past 5 years, I went back to Woodland Mills, and that should say something for them. I researched when I was done with all the WoodMizer and all that stuff, trying to figure out, okay, where am I at? What do I need? And then it came down to buy a Woodland Mills, and it's definitely the best bang for your buck for what I need, for my needs. So that's the way I would go in my situation. Because, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be building my own stuff on my own property. I do have people ask me, like, hey, can you have this by this time and give me 100 of these or 100 of that? And I tell people, I'm like, give me a month and I'll get it done. And they're like, I can't wait. And I'm like, cool, go somewhere else then. Like, if you want to take those big orders, I mean, you'll get some big orders too. Like, if you get your sawmill business going, and somebody's like, hey, I need 200 2x4s, 10 feet long. How soon? And you can tell them like 3 days, you'll get those orders. And you'll make money. And if that's what you're looking for, WoodMizer hydraulic sawmills that's what you want. Their support's great. They know what they're talking about. They will walk you through everything until you get everything working. It's a good company. They're a good product. But it serves a purpose for the people that level of support. For me, I can self-engineer and figure things out on my own. And if something goes down, this sawmill is so simple, I could fix it myself. I don't need even to call support at this point. Early on I did, because I didn't know a lot about them, but Woodland Mills is a good entry-level sawmill because you'll learn a lot from it. And then when you start producing a lot more lumber and you get into other sawmills, you're going to learn quite a bit about sawmilling and what the tolerances are, and there's so much to kind of figure out. But yeah, so anyway, I'm rambling on. I pretty much kind of told you everything we got going on at this point. And it sounds like the family is settling in and checking out and watching TV and that sort of thing, so I'm gonna go join them. But if you guys have any questions or anything like that, throw them in the comment section below. But I'm gonna take off here. Long story short, so Tomorrow, gotta go pick up an excavator, so I gotta get up early to do that. Gotta get up at about 6 o'clock. Get ready, get the truck ready to haul that thing back here. I'll record some of that stuff and share it with you. I hope you guys follow along. Hope you guys are enjoying the videos. That's why we do it. It's just a good time for us. So, hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy yourselves. Do something fun for yourself every day. Life's too short. All right, guys. See you next time. Take care.